We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take.
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Hello and welcome to Draw 5 of the Speedy Creek Shootout here, Curling Stadium and Curling Zone. We have a round robin matchup here between Team Ballance and Team Yamaguchi. My name is Marty Thompson. Jason Chang joins me for this call. And Jason, we have a kind of an intriguing matchup here with a young team out of Alberta and Saskatchewan. Little disparate team for sure when it comes to a Canadian outfit. And we have this Japanese side preparing for the Worlds just coming up here in Moose Jaw.
Yeah, a young team against a team that I won't say is old, but certainly has a little bit more experience and making their way to the World Championship via Swift Current. Team skip Riku Yamaguchi. I think he's a 3-time Japanese champion. But I think the key to this team, of course, is their third and the guy who's actually holding the broom and calling the shots, Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi, who's got many World Championship games under his belt. They had a good game this morning. I called that game against Team Libis, Jake Libis. That was a tight game till the end, but Yamaguchi evened their record up to 1-1. That was an important win for them. The Balance team 0-2, so they really need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive.
And it looks like the Canadian side does have Hammer here in this first end. Jason, what can you tell us about how this Japanese team has played thus far? We have lots of international talent here for Swift Current and also for Martinsville last week as they try to tee up for Moose Jaw. What can you tell us about their performance so far here in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of international teams in the field with the Men's World Championships coming up in Moose Jaw, the events in Martinsville last week, and here in Swift Current this week, attracting a really strong international crowd. We've got Nick Adine here, the Yamaguchi Wouter Goskins of the Netherlands. Another team I really like is Lukas Klima from the Czech Republic. This morning with the Yanagasawa team, they struggled yesterday in their opening draw. That was the game against Jaden King, this Yanagasawa team. But this morning they were much tighter on their shot making in terms of precision. They've had did a really good job on their soft weight hits, controlling those hit and rolls, and played a pretty smart game overall. Took advantage of a few chances that they got. It was a tight game overall, but they were able to capitalize with great hammer efficiencies, getting deuces on a number of occasions en route to that victory.
This Yamamoto throwing second stones for this team. Came nearly right to the face there of that red. And as for Team Balance, they've got some ground at least to work with here in the key. Good chance to maybe hit and roll underneath for the team throwing red stones.
Yeah, I mean, the yellow stones, those are Yanagasawa stones. They're all behind the tee line, so a great opportunity to use the top of the rings with hammer. That's a good setup.
And this team playing out of Okotoks, there's some Saskatchewan, there's some Alberta, there's a good mix here. I believe this is Bo Colonelson throwing stones here for this young side. And they, same as the Japanese team, just didn't quite come over as much as they wanted to. Another good chance to feel out some of the line on the ice here in swift current. Certainly enough curl to make a couple interesting shots, but we saw at least in the earlier draw here, draw 4, teams just getting a little bit fooled on hits and how to broom for them.
Yeah, I found in the morning draw, especially earlier on in the first half of the game, hits running pretty straight. You had to throw the weight quite softly to get that finish. It seemed like there was a little bit more curl later in the game, and as well a little bit more curl going inside out. So center line out, a little bit more curl, and that's a nice hit and roll by Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi.
Yeah, as you mentioned, bringing that veteran leadership. This is a team that has a, in terms of Yamaguchi, as a 40-year-old, and then there's an 18-year-old, of course, with Yamamoto, who I think made his first World, if I'm not mistaken, when he was 15. So as you said, as you rightly pointed out, yeah, certainly a little bit more of an experienced team, but a good mixture, I think, of that youth and that old headness, let's say.
Yeah, for many years, Yamaguchi played with Yosuke Morozumi. They made many Japanese championships, or one of many Japanese championships, played in a number of world championships as well. So he's a guy bringing a lot of leadership, and I think that's why they ended up making that switch in terms of who's calling the game. When this team formed, Yanagasawa was calling the game and throwing the 4 stones, and now they've made this switch where Tsuyoshi is in the house and throwing the 3rd stone still.
11-time Japanese champion. Went to the Olympics in 2018 as well.
Yeah, and also I believe a Japanese mixed doubles champion with Satsuki Fujisawa back in maybe 2018 or 19 or so, somewhere near there. I played against them that year.
Good chance to just protect what they have in the key here and in the 4-foot area. So tolerant to be light on this attempt.
Yeah, a good guard here would go a long way. You've got 2 rocks in the ring. You've got the force on.
They could control to keep this a little bit wider and just protect that stone that's on the edge of the button, and they will do just that.
Yeah, that's a really nice shot. Wanted to just get that curl just enough at the end to cover up the port if you went through the middle. It might still be there. Pretty tight, though.
I think this is worth taking on for the skipper here, just that little tight port.
I think so, and you err on getting rid of that guard that was just thrown, right? So if you miss it, if you can at least get that guard off, the other team will have to replace it.
Key shot here in this end. Can this team Balance get a little bit of magic going, as again, it's a lot of yellow granite up the middle of the sheet. really want to keep this straight. They might just hit this guard. No, it looks close. Oof.
They just get it by. Nice shot, and stays right there. Well, we know the port is there now.
And with a little bit more weight, and I imagine that's what the Japanese team is looking at. It's certainly wide open. You just come, you're maybe not too concerned about jamming on that back one, though. You'd certainly want to avoid it.
Yeah, if you jam on the back one, you're probably still buried in shot stones, so it wouldn't be too bad. I think if you can hit it on the left-hand side as you see it from the thrower's angle, push it through, you might be able to get a little bit of a flop behind that tighter guard.
Certainly a great opportunity coming up to first skip stones here for this Japanese team to taking commanding just shape in this first end.
Yeah, but need to make this one first. If you don't make this one, then the pressure's on you on the next one, right? The Ballance team can sit a couple with hammer. So first stone for Karuizawa. Let's see what he can do.
Keeping it straight right away. Good action there. Just wreck on the guard. Oh, look at a good spill in. Interesting result.
Well, it's an interesting result. I mean, it's nice that they got the yellow to spill in, but the bad thing is, and the good thing for Team Balance is the front is completely open now. So there's really very little risk of giving up a steal anymore, and you can definitely sit two with some sort of a hit, try to roll it away, or maybe make the double and roll it away a bit.
So we have James and Bo Cornelson back here taking a look at things. Is that kind of hit and flop there where they come over? Yeah, they just move a little bit out into the 8-foot. Could maybe even try to get the Reds flat or close to it.
The tricky part about this shot is you don't have a lot of real estate to roll to, right? If you don't make the double on the back, you have to stay full 8 and try to sit second shot still. And you probably may still leave a pretty flat but makeable double back. So if you can ever get rid of that back yellow stone, then you have a little bit more real estate to roll. You can roll all the way to the 12-foot even and sit 1-2, and that would be ideal.
Big opportunity here for James Ballance in this first end. They have the hammer and they have real opportunity to put a couple redstones in some decent positions. Carving over to get a piece. You don't want to jam. They will jam. Now, that's a tricky double, but I don't see this Japanese team shying away from it.
No, I'm pretty sure they'll take it on. It's a little bit on the thin side, but they're pretty close together, so that will make it a little bit easier. You don't need to make perfect contact when the rocks are so close together. But you make this shot, you'll be sitting 3. Put the pressure on the young team.
Trying to figure out exactly how they want to, I guess you don't want to come over the top of it, but I guess at the end of the day, if you lose your shooter, if you throw a ton of weight, the force is still on, because if there was just those 2 Yellowstones back there, that's a real tough double to earn the blank. So just executing this double here for a chance for a pretty solid force.
Yeah, if you make the 2 go away, and if you lose the shooter or you lose one of the ones at the back, as long as you're sitting 1-2, I think you've probably got the force on. So
final stone here for Yamaguchi. Attempting the thin double. Got to bring it over to get a decent piece of it.
I think it looks
good. They do just that. Nice little stick there on the shooter, and that red rolls just out of play as well, quite crucially too. If they do attempt to this double, There we go. Let's get another look at this. Ken just got a nice thin part of it. Good sweeping on this one too.
They're carving it over there at the beginning. Actually could have hit it a hair thinner. If they had it a hair thinner, they would have missed the back one completely, I think, in set 3. Now there may be a double for the blank.
That red just squeaking out of the 12-foot there. If it was somehow in place, there might just have been somehow a shot for 2, but in this case, the blank is on here for team balance.
They might also need just the double to score the 1 because not 100% sure they can. Well, nose hit looks like they're not shot. They either have to roll it towards the center line to catch a bit more of the 4-foot. So we'll see what they try to do here. I guess either or.
Looks tight. Got to keep this going, and they will get a roll.
Spin back a bit. Maybe.
I think ever so slightly. It does look like red from this angle. Well, maybe not. Oh, they're gesturing for the measure.
Looks pretty close.
Lots of exciting shots here in the first end. Curling zone, curling stadium. Thanks so much for tuning in. I know we have some folks checking out the stream from Japan. I believe it's morning out there from the comments. So thank you so much for watching again. Much appreciated.
Yeah, ohayou gozaimasu to all our friends out in Japan. Good morning.
Yeah, I won't be taking any bets on this one for sure, but again, lots of rocks in play to start in this first end too. We've seen lots of that, especially in Martinsville, but again here in Swift Current, just the quality of play that we see here, and maybe playing a little loose because it's the end of the year for some teams, but obviously there's other groups that are teeing up for really the pinnacle of their season.
World Championships, of course. Of course, we're going to see
And it looks like it was James Ballance scoring the 1. At least that's what they pointed to. Yeah, it looks like it's 1 red in the first end. We'll be right back for the second.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever All-Star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
Hi, I'm Jane. And I'm Rick, and Jane and I are the owners of Sprague Foods Limited here in Belleville, Ontario, in the Bay of Quinte area. We're a food processing facility, and we can a whole range of products, including soups and sauces and rice pudding and beans.
And welcome back to Swift Current Saskatchewan, Draw 5, the Speedy Creek Shootout. Marty Thompson and Jason Chang with you for this one. And Team Ballance getting away with that 1 point we were just mentioning off camera, looking for the double likely, but just sort of got just a bit tight on it. Took their one, and now we have this Japanese side and Yamaguchi with the hammer. And it'd be interesting to see how much pressure they can apply here. They threw pretty well in the first end.
Yeah, and in the earlier game today, they did play the corner guard quite often, and they've done that again. Trying to get around it. They'll rub and roll to the top of the 12, partially behind that center guard. There was a mistake from the lead for Team Balance. They threw that second rock through the ring, so that's why there's only that one center guard there. That second stone of theirs slipped right through.
Decent miss there from Koizumi, throwing first stones here for this Japanese team. Take this call, Jason, just removing that yellow stone, throwing board, it looks like. Or
I think I like this call right now. You've got the 1 point lead. You made a mistake on your last shot, so without the last stone, I think taking out this rock is a pretty good option. I actually like maybe getting a half roll behind the corner actually, and try to choke off the corner guard. If you kind of leave it wide open, I think it invites maybe a hidden roll. I don't know if you can actually hidden roll back on if you make this, but they missed that shot, hit the guard, and I think this now has turned into a very good potential setup with the last rock for the Japanese team. No center guard, you've got a couple of corner guards to work with, everything's nicely spread out, and you've got shot stone as well.
Nothing but room here on the across the sheet. Yamaguchi, as you mentioned, the veteran on this team, just taking his time trying to figure out the best way to pace out this end. And it looks like he's deciding on coming around that red on the outside.
Yeah, certainly coming around one of those two rocks is advisable. I like this call actually going around the red one. If you get that fully buried, it's a little bit dangerous, I think, to run the red. If you don't make that run, now you go around the other corner and you're sitting 3 and they're all separated.
Yeah.
Someone's stopwatch or something just flew off.
All been there. Key is just to keep this weight on this stone. And that seems like that's pretty good spacing. It's exposed, but no easy double for sure. And James Ballance is trying to figure out the right way. Yeah, likely the hit and roll here, but a couple ways you can miss this too.
He can also hit that top one, and that's what he's asking his team there, whether you want to hit that top stone.
This is Nate Kelba throwing second stones for this team, one of the Okotoks natives for Team Ballance. Really digging in here to try to keep this going.
They make the hit, they roll it behind their own, now it's a corner guard, but that's only third shot or second shot. Japan still sitting shot stone, and again, they're going to be able to throw some sort of a draw here and spread these rocks out.
Looks like Yamaguchi wants to come around the wide corner. The other, I don't know if the other shot would be just come around the staggered reds, but then you have to make it pretty nice so they don't just run them back.
Yeah, I think you're right. The coming around the staggered reds is an option. Both have their merits, I think, in this situation.
Appreciate the diplomacy here, just trying to get the whole team on board and all the decisions they've got.
Yeah, they
around.
decided to go around that yellow stone.
Yamamoto delivering here. Trailing right behind that stone, making sure the weight's right, but looks like it's all there for weight.
Yeah, just a little bit heavy. It might even slide through. That's an opportunity squandered.
Yeah, it would have been one of the, just about a wide of splitting of the house as you can get in this sport, but unfortunately it just sails through. Didn't get a tick off that red guard either. Really no plan B capable, but.
Yeah, and I'm surprised because there may have been a tick available if they just called the weight was heavy and the sweepers got on it, but maybe just a little bit of lack of communication there. Hard to hear what they're saying out there from our respective studios, but certainly looked like it was close enough to that guard for it to rub if you actually called it.
Well, Cornelson makes the hit and roll, but it does go to the back 8, and now we're going to see Yamaguchi want to attack that anywhere kind of underneath those staggards, or the hit and roll, I guess.
I like going under the stagger here. If you force that double run back, it might jam on that the back red one. So I'd be using this to your advantage right now. And that back red one, it could always be the rock you end up having some backing to for a draw to the button if you ever needed that backing. So I wouldn't be playing any hit on the back stone. I'd be going for the draw right now. You've got the whole 4-foot right now and a draw with backing. So not very dangerous here. It's just still try to get your multiple score.
And that red run back looks a lot closer from the opposite hack that it does, obviously, as you can tell from above. So call is just to come around here from Yamaguchi. Running a little wide on them. Oh, here comes now.
And now I think they're trying to hold it straight to maybe kind of freeze on the back stone. Well, maybe just never had the room in the right spot there.
Yeah, awfully good plan B no matter what. So Team Balance going to go after this yellow stone with a bit of weight, it looks like. Bo Cornelson throwing vice stones here. A native of right here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Local boy throwing a little bit of heat here in his hometown club.
Yeah, I see some fans behind the glass, so hopefully some of them are cheering for him. I know the Japanese teams are always very popular around the world, but that's a nice shot. Really didn't need to stick the shooter. The stones behind the house probably not helping them too much at this point since they're already sitting 2, so they've got the force on regardless. But of course, there is that staggered guard situation. I guess there's a guard and one in the top 12 that's acting as a guard. So again, Japanese team will try to use this situation here. Or sorry, this is the last rock, right? Sorry, I might be one rock behind Marty. You gotta.
No, this is Yamaguchi's last for vice
This is the last rock. Sorry, I thought this was his first, but this is his last. So this is just a draw against 2. Yep.
I believe we've got. I believe this is vice stones throwing. So I think we have. Yeah, we have more to come.
Oh, we've got more to come. That's right.
Yeah, long story short, man, we got more to come.
This is the last rock for Yamaguchi. So absolutely, what I was saying was correct. Going around that guard, stagger guard. I got confused for a sec with the way they play their lineup with Yamaguchi holding the broom.
And of course, last rock thrower for quite some time himself comes around, and they will put it just showing on the 4-foot. Now it's up. Now it's time for skip stones. Now
All right, thanks, Marty.
No, no worries. You let me know anytime you need it. Anytime you need it. I mean, this is at least some tricky placement, I guess. No, for Team Balance, they've got to go after this Yellowstone. Looks like they're going to play the freeze.
Yeah,
or a
I
little
guess.
hit or something.
I think they were motioning for the freeze, and that was a good adjustment on the line there on Yamaguchi's second shot. Got that mostly buried. I guess buried enough for their opponents to prefer the freeze rather than chasing this stone. Certainly chase it. You can see enough of it to hit it out if you really wanted to. If you freeze it right on the corner, you might be able to get shot stone out of it. Not 100% sure. Just depends on which angle you get. Definitely want to get enough on that rock so that the Japanese team can't push it out and sit too. But
Skip James Balance. His first to two. So he's being patient, ready to carve this. Looks like they want to slow it down.
yeah, it might be a hair heavier than they wanted, and that's why they weren't sweeping it too early. Does bounce it back far enough, I think. Red shot stone. Close again.
An awfully good spot to be shot stone. Yeah, they're going to have to play something soft and see if you can't just kind of chisel it and move it sideways, no?
Yeah, I think so. Try to move it sideways into the 8-foot or more fully into the 8-foot. You'll naturally roll the shooter to the other side of the 8-foot, so if you can sit 1-2 after the situation, it's pretty good. You might leave a double, so it just depends on how far you can roll it, I think. I love to roll it at least to the T line on the other side of the 8-foot, if not a hair more than that.
Yeah, it's definitely worth taking on, because if you ever came to the face of the red stone or just off it and just bumped it straight into the yellow, you know, your shooter's likely in a good place too. So it's a couple different ways you can make this and end up okay as they look to score a deuce or better here in this second end, their first end with last rock advantage, as Karuizawa gets set for his first to two as the fourth rock thrower. Lost to Jaden King out of London, Ontario in the first game. Definitely a bit of an upset, but rebounding well here.
Yeah, Jaden's one of those up-and-coming young teams out of Ontario, trying to replace, of course, the legendary Glenn Howard as the standard bearer for Ontario curling for Sam Woodbrook here as well, and he was at the Brier winning Ontario this year. But last year, of course, Jaden King made it all the way to the final of the Ontario Tankard.
This looks pretty close. Again, they want to get as thin as they can to it, and that is
through.
A pretty good result. The Yellowstones are certainly flat. There is a play for Team Balance, but I don't think he could have made that any better. Maybe your yellow rolls a slightly farther, but that's an excellent result.
Yeah, and if you play this double, the yellow could jam onto that red one on the side now. You have to kind of hit it on the top side. The second stone has to be kind of hit on the top side to try to push it downward rather than sideways. Or you can just play a hidden flop and sit on top of that yellow stone.
I think that would be within the tolerance. You certainly need to play some weight to get enough of that second yellow rock going, but if you hit a thick chunk of it and you just end up rolling over with all that weight, that might be a pretty nice force. Team Balance really have been up against it here so far in Swift Currents. First game was against none other than Nick Adine. 7-3 loss in that one, but had their moments for sure. And now up against another team destined for Worlds. They've been holding their own for sure. Final stone here for this team out of Okotoks.
It looks like he got it going out of his hand. But might get the roll on top, which will be just as good.
Oh, wow, really good. Put it right in the 4-foot and forces this Japanese team to draw, but that was, I guess, I guess, like I said, that was within the tolerance, right? They got a thick part of it, so much weight. Just came over on top of the yellow.
Yeah, when he released the stone, I thought he may have just tweaked it in, and certainly tweaked it in to not be able to make that double, but got the roll instead.
Team Yamaguchi with the draw to the 4-foot for their single. In this, the second end here in Swift Current, round robin play. Final stone.
Expect him to be pretty close here.
Koizumi with that broom down right away. That nice little snowplow, keeping the rock moving, and it does look close. Great judgment there from the sweepers to manage that stone right to the pin. We will be right back from the Swift Current with the third end. It is 1-1 now. Team Balance will have hammer.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the Curling Group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world number 1 Team Homan takes on world number 1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The Curling Group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec safety on?
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
And welcome back to Draw 5 of the Speedy Creek Shootout, Curling Stadium and Curling Zone. Team Balance and Team Yamaguchi in round robin play. We do have a little correction for you. Team Balance is actually being skipped by Adam Nogler, who's their alternate. I believe he's out of Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, so apologies, Adam. But Yamaguchi here, I'm not sure, that looks like that picked, eh? They're wiping part of the sheet down the middle. I'd imagine that's not where they wanted that rock to go.
Yeah, they definitely wanted that a bit tighter. With that guard being so high, it doesn't cover a lot. There's a lot of curl going inside out, center lines out, so it'll be hard to bury a rock there and make it inaccessible. Yeah, it did look like Koizumi was having a look at the ice back there, seeing what it may have grabbed on.
A chance here, Team Balance getting a a miss of sorts, although it is early on. They do have the hammer, opting to sink another redstone in. Now, you don't really want to leave a pocket or a double. And it looks like maybe the double is there if they want to take it on.
Yeah, I think probably you should got to take it on now. And excuse me, of course, that corner guard was meant to be a draw, I believe, and not a guard at all, and certainly not a corner guard without hammer for this Japanese team. So that grabbed and it lost the handle and went sideways, I think.
Kazumi right away, while managing this stone, and a well-executed double takeout. Get the roll behind the corner that you created just for fun. I like that. That's just, it's just meant to be. You know, you have a pick, the universe is against me. You're like, nah, look at this. Nice, tidy roll.
Well managed, good shot.
Of course, they don't have hammer, but, and it is a high guard, but just nice to make one of those. Awfully satisfying.
Again, that guard being so high, you can definitely get to the face of the stone, tap it back, stay behind the guard, and maybe create a bit of a wall behind that corner guard situation.
Nathan Kelba throwing second stones here for Team Balance, looking for the chase, maybe with a little bit of weight, and they will get right to the nose of that yellow stone.
It moves it all the way out, but I think you can push this out. Maybe you can even roll it towards the center. And that's why I was saying, if you really wanted to try to be aggressive and play for 2 points, you could have just tried to push it to the back of the 12-foot, leave it there as something that it could potentially jam on. Now you've left the hidden roll to the center, which is what Team Yamaguchi would like to play around. Without Glass Rock, you'd love to play around the centers.
Saw Team Balance throw one down here, getting a good feel for the line. Really patient here. This looks close.
A little bit of spin back towards the middle, tiny bit, half buried.
You called it. Congratulations. Two really precise shots here from this Japanese team.
Well, they're making their home in Saskatchewan for a few weeks here, so this might as well be their home. Home club roll there, a little bit of a backspin. I never get those when you want them. Always go the other way.
Yeah, it never quite seems to work out.
Playing the run back here, it's a little conservative. You could just draw that stone from the Yanagisawa team behind the tee. So you could draw to the top 4, the top of the button, try to create some offense. They decided to try to run it back, clear everything.
Just looking around at the other scores here. No big numbers up on any of the scoreboards here yet in draw 5. Jaden King and Jacob Libis are tied 1-1. Libis with the hammer. Ethan Sampson has the hammer. He forced Nicholas Adine to 1 in the second. Again, we'll keep you up to date there on the other games happening here in Swift Current.
This, I think, was supposed to be a guard, and it slipped a little bit deep, and now you can potentially make the double and roll the shooter into the rings. You definitely wanted that fully outside of the rings to prevent this situation.
Yeah, just a little bit, I guess, on the inside, just to make sure they can kind of get to some paint.
Yeah, and even if you don't make the double, if you can just roll it on, get it behind the corner, put a little bit of pressure on the other team, or you can roll it the other way and be on. But once you're on, you force the Yamaguchi team to make a play at this. And so they'd have to roll it back to the perfect spot. That's a lot harder to do than just drawing it to the perfect spot.
You saw a Team Balance there putting a broom down early and then switching to the carve, and certainly have to be careful these days with the power of sweeping, getting a broom down early on, and whether it be a hit or a draw can certainly change the trajectory, but still a decent roll, and forcing Yamaguchi to make a hit and roll with a little bit more down weight here, inside out as well. A little slip from Yamamoto, good recovery.
Yeah, I think this Japanese team is very good at throwing the softer weight, but that is going to go right by.
A real chance here for Team Balance. Combination of line and weight there, but it was maybe closer to board or maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, hard to tell whether it was overthrown or you just had too much ice. Maybe a combination of the two, but you're absolutely right. Really good chance now for this team out of, I don't know, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the Northwest Territories?
I believe Alberta. And it's going to be just off nose and sit in a pretty dangerous position. So just as we've seen through the first three ends, there's lots of ugly staggers of about 2 or 3 stones where there's no real clear double and some decision making needed by the skips and the vices.
Well, all of a sudden, this has turned into a really good situation for the red stones. You play the double, you're rolling out.
Yeah, it seems like you do have, oh, they are going to try this, or at least looking at it. It's going to be tricky too, because I guess you may have your yellow stone, your shooter roll into the rings, but it might just kind of be sitting out there in no man's land. So if you ever jam it or something, then Team Balance could set one up in an even more difficult location. Big shot here from the 4th rock thrower and Yamaguchi.
Yeah, and I think you know, they're thinking, even if I miss the double, I should have an open hit on the last one. You'll give up 2, but under these circumstances, this early in the game, I guess that's okay.
First of 2 here, Yamaguchi. We'll carve at the last second. Is it close? It does jam. Rolls out towards the edge of the 4. And Team Balance here with Adam Nogler getting set to throw his skip stones. Just a chance to either split the rings or put one right there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say they were lucky that that didn't spill any further. They let that curl up the hair more, that may have spilled, or just curled up enough to not spill further behind that guard. I guess it's wide open right now. You have to be careful here if you split the rings. If you split the rings and you're not fully in the 8-foot, Team Yamaguchi can make a hit and roll behind the corner and still be shot. So then you'll have a little bit of a delicate shot. But again, that guard is fairly high, so you should be able to make a quiet tap on it regardless. Just get them evened up. I think that's the most important thing. Other side of the 8-foot, have these evened up. There won't be a double if you do that.
Adam Nogler throwing 4 stones here for Team Balance. Really patient with this. It just seems to be running and running and running, and it will slide out the back of the house. So mistakes traded here in this 3rd end. Yamaguchi with a chance just to remove this red stone and get out of trouble.
Yeah, that was a really good opportunity to set up 2 points, and we've seen a couple of draws go through the rings this game so far. Yamaguchi's team had a chance in, I think, the first end to put some pressure on, but one of their stones slipped through the rings as well.
Final stone here for this Japanese team.
They are going to try to flop it behind the corner and make the blank as hard as possible. In fact, if they can get it buried behind the corner, I don't think Team Balance will take on the blank. Let's see, can they stick it behind the corner?
Ooh.
Pretty darn good.
That guard is so high, but you are right, Jason. They're not going to take it on. It is daunting for sure, especially just how well lined up they are there.
Yeah, if you had played the draw and were sitting 2 and you had another red stone in the house, you can definitely make the tap back with quiet weight for 2, but to have to lose the shooter as well and play a little bit of weight at it, it's not a good look from the hack.
And sometimes, as we know, especially those who've ever thrown last stones, that really does matter. Final stone here for Team Balance. Adam Nogler throwing. Needs to get full 8 foot to take their 1 in the third.
The sweeper's on it. He was a bit heavy on the last one. He's taken some weight off of this, making use of the sweepers this time. Will they get it there, though? I think they took too much off.
And they will not, so it'll be a steal of 1 for Team Yamaguchi. Team Balance will retain the hammer in the fourth. We will be right back with that action.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. TheRockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
And welcome back here to Draw 5 at the Speedy Creek Shootout. We are in the fourth end. Team Balance giving up that steal of 1, just a little short on the draw there from Adam Nogler. but they do retain that last rock advantage. Yanagisawa looking to come around their own guard there. This is Koizumi throwing lead stones. Another one of these vets on this team from Nagano.
Yeah, this team out of the Nagano area, of course, the 1998 Olympic Winter Games held in that Karuizawa Curling Club arena. Really beautiful arena, actually. Pretty small for a arena, but for curling, it's a great size, and especially back then in 1998, that's a fantastic venue. And they've got actually electronic scoreboards in there. At least the last time I visited, it had electronic scoreboards. So I'm not sure how you work it. I never worked it, but it was pretty cool.
Maybe just a series of buttons or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Koizumi would have been 11 when those winter games were happening. So it doesn't take long for you to determine how he maybe would have gone into curling.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure the impact of those games there would have been immense.
Absolutely, yeah. 27th anniversary to that, actually. I know it's the 27th because last year was kind of the 26th, or between the 25th and the 26th year, and I'm on the organizing committee of the Toronto Curling Association Championships, and so last year we had special guests team, the silver medalist from Nagano, from Canada, Team Mike Harris. Mike wasn't able to join, but their second, Colin Mitchell, and their third, Richard Hart, joined us at the championship banquet.
Historic Olympic Games for many reasons. The first proper introduction to the sport.
Well, I think that games really started the growth of curling in Asia and the professionalization of the sport. Now that's again 27 years later, but I think those Olympic Games made a huge difference. And then of course subsequent Olympic Games as well. Americans always talk about how Salt Lake really got USA, got curling to be very exciting in the US, and then of course the gold medal from John Schuster accelerated that even more. In Asia, those games, and I think really started it all. That's when, after that was when the Chinese teams, the Korean teams, the Japanese team really started to put more resources into the game, and now those countries are some of the best in the world.
And even in more recent times, the Italian Turin Olympics too had its impact. It's it is a sport that fundamentally uses the Olympics as a key driver, but also getting their athletes out on that stage when they're from your country, that goes quite a long way.
Yeah, and of course the Winter Olympics again, going back to Italy, Milano Cortina.
Koizumi would have been 11 when the Nagano Olympics rolled around, but Yamamoto would not even be a twinkle in the eye at that point as he kicks and deals for his second stone. I guess your play is just to try to keep this again on this side of that center line. They will just come over and block that off. So a really daunting key again from Team Yanagisawa. Ballance forced to just run yellow into yellow.
Yeah, and the problem with this end, at least the start of this end, was the same as the start of the last end. That that lead stone from the Ballance team wasn't placed in the right spot. That guard that is off the center line, that was supposed to be a draw and didn't make it into the house. So it gave Yanagisawa kind of that first go into the rings. That's a really nice run back, though.
Super precise. Well done there from Nathan Kalba, throwing second stones for Team Ballance. Let's have another look at that. A good sweep here. That's Bo Cornelson.
Yeah, he made that before I had a chance to say, you can definitely run this back to make this. And he showed me how to do it.
That's a reverse curse the commentator, if you will.
But still, the center guard is up. The good news is it's a red one for Team Ballance, and they've got the last stone. But Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi, they're just going to go around it one more time here. It's really amazing how good top teams are in making those run backs now.
And they will not quite come around. They will just bite the top 12. Is that useful?
It definitely blocks off a bit of a draw path. Certainly, red can't come in on the outturn side or the counterclockwise side easily. They have to go wide around the yellow. So they're changing sides, going to the in-turn side now, or the clockwise direction. Of course, that's for the right-hander. The in-turn.
Carlson getting really wide here.
Yeah, he looked like he got way, way out there. I'm not sure this is ever going to come back to be behind the guards. You'd almost like this to go a bit deep now. You don't want to leave it in the top of the 8 and then give Japanese team a hit and roll onto the button. Or leave it just a bit higher so that they hit and roll, it's only in the 8-foot.
Now suddenly that yellow potential biter there is could really come into play, as you mentioned. If Karuizawa just make that nice little hit and roll here, as Yamaguchi is eyeing it up. Could be more pressure again.
Yeah, Yamaguchi, remember the rock he flashed a minute ago was also this center line out turn soft weight hit. So very similar hit this time. The ice doesn't look that different from what they took the last end. So I'm going to guess the last one was maybe just overthrown or it was just wide out of his hand, because this looks about the same ice as he took an end to go. Opposite side, of course, or opposite direction. On home this time versus away.
It definitely seemed like it ran a little bit closer to a board weight or a board plus, if you will. So with this ice, you'd hope on any sheet that there should be enough for just kind of a hack waiter. That said, Yamamoto hard on the carve already.
He's got the contact this time. Will it stick around though?
It will not. Didn't gear back on that one, sadly. So I guess a similar miss both times. It could have been a line issue too, I guess. Hard to say for sure with us just watching at home, but certainly not something that Yamaguchi would be expecting.
Yeah, it looked like he had a nice soft weight there, and maybe the rock just an end ago was just thrown so far off that it was hard to get a good read off of it, right? Sometimes if you miss it by too much, the skip can't adjust enough.
Keeping this rock going, it's by the guard, so it's time to curl for distance, if you will. And they bring that to a really nice spot. You can see just there on the 4-foot, fully buried. Decision time here for this Japanese team. What do you like?
Good question. You could potentially draw to the side of the button on the outturn side. I don't know if I'd be playing the raise on this rock. On their own yellow rock, sorry. Like the raise takeout. They're looking at opening up the front or running this red one in. 2 rocks left, so skip stones here coming up. You have to be careful if you're trying to play the run, because you can't leave the shooter there. If you miss it, if you lose the shooter there, the other team, Ballance is just going to draw a second one in behind cover.
Mm-hmm. Couple ways you can miss this, as it does look like Yamaguchi's biting his nails a little bit, but worth the attempt here.
I'm not a fan of that shot. This freeze I'm not a fan of. A thank you freeze. Red goes around the other side and sits 2. I suppose you have a yellow run if you wanted to play that for your last, but you'd be running that against 2, and if you miss, you give up 3. So I'm not the biggest fan of this freeze. I'd almost rather draw around the other side. If you think you can get buried on the other side and be shot stone, I'd be tempted to go around the other side.
You might just be able to do it too.
If you go around
Regardless,
the other, if you go around the other side, there's the yellow double, but you could jam that. You could hit it off angle and kill your own red. You can try the angle red into the yellow if they make the other side draw, but then you leave the red one open that's shot stone right now. So I'm not really loving this call, and this didn't help them at all.
so now team balance here. We're coming up to 4 stones with Adam Nogler. Boy, can they just come around, just get right to there?
You want to be careful to not create kind of a bigger target right in the rings. If you go to the top 4, I'm pretty sure Yamaguchi, they're going to be running that yellow in. So you don't want to leave a run that's a double or something that gives them more to hit. So I'm not sure where the best spot is, but probably not side by side. I'd probably suggest this rock to be just a little bit higher than that other red one. Maybe just biting the top of the 4, mostly in the 8, perhaps.
So just making sure they get this line right. Some tolerance involved in this one, but you really want to get a rock deep and take advantage of a golden opportunity against this Japanese team. And team balance, Adam Nogler throwing 4th and skipping this team.
Yeah, and he had some trouble with his draw away in the last end. So let's see if he can make the adjustment here.
Yeah, good point. Sent one through, and then on the draw was closer to a guard weight. Good chance to dial this in here for the interim skipper.
Looks like they're all over the guard, though.
Yeah,
hopefully they don't push it in.
Yeah.
Shot stone. It's looking close to being shot stone. Okay.
Yeah, I think they could have taken a little bit more line on that. I think with the broom, they were kind of in that edge of 8-foot zone, but it doesn't look like Nogler has much of a set, so he might have just kind of went straight through or maybe even turned it in slightly and it was already gone. But regardless, Yamaguchi attempting to come around with, again, that broom there right out into the 12-foot.
Yeah, quite a bit more ice, I think, than Nogler took. And this is the shot I preferred on his first, to take this shot away, because even if they had frozen that yellow stone right onto the face of the shot stone, the red stone, they would have given Nogler that outturn draw, and if he had made it, you're in a bit of trouble. Now, though, they do have a chance to get in there first still on this outturn side. And I think you can get you can get shot stone here. I think you can nibble the button based on where those guards are.
Yamaguchi just showed with his broom that, we could be top 8 too. That's okay. Some tolerance involved in this shot for sure. It will be a brusher shot in many respects. Final stone here for Yamaguchi. Koizumi on the inside, Yamamoto on the outside. And he will play to the tolerance of it being light for sure. Can they bring this in? Not quite.
Maybe respected the tolerance just a little bit too much, because you can get to the full 8-foot from the intern side. Needed that to be probably at least fully in the 8-foot, or even biting the top 4 to really cut off the path on the other side at least.
And it gives Team Balance, quite crucially, only a draw to just, get a decent chunk of the 8-foot in order to score 2 points on the final stone.
Well, we usually say 3 times a charm, but maybe 4 times a charm here for the draw.
Again, Adam Nogler throwing fourth. Quick chat with the sweepers to get a feel. A different line, a different turn, hopefully a different result here for Team Balance. Final stone here in the fourth, a chance to go up by a point heading into the fourth end break. Line not a concern, it's just really weight here. Can this be precise enough to get into the white rings? It's awfully close, and they get some kudos from the Japanese team. They bring it right to the 4-foot. Team Balance scores 2 in the fourth, make it 3-2. We will be right back with the fifth end after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec safety on?
And welcome back to the second half of action here. Draw 5 of the Speedy Creek Shootout, Curling Stadium and Curling Zone. My name is Marty Thompson. Jason Chang is alongside me for this game. Team Balance scoring the deuce there in the third to take a lead. And Karuizawa now with the hammer. Koizumi having to attack that redstone on the 4-foot there.
Yeah, those last few stones in that fourth end by the third rock throwers, and then maybe even a couple on those skip stones. A little bit sloppy, but Nogler making that draw for his second point. Takes the lead going to the second half of this game.
What have you seen out of Team Balance so far, Jason? I know that we just said the 4 times the charm with with Nogler, and there's draw weight, but there seems to be some really nice flashes of brilliance from this team. And then, unfortunately, just the consistency's kind of let them down, but otherwise they're certainly in this game.
Yeah, and I think both teams have just had some missed shots, and that's when the opportunity swings to the other side, because it looks like in many of these ends, one of the teams has pretty good control of the situation and then has one kind of a miss or a half shot, and then all of a sudden everything turns around. So that's what I like, from the young team, the team Ballance. They've stuck in there. They've made some mistakes, but they've hung in there. They've made enough shots to, have a 1-point lead going into the second half. So if we can tidy it up just a little bit, especially on those lead rocks, getting those first couple in a good spot. We've seen some missed shots in the lead as well as on the draws from the skip. So if they can tighten that up just a little bit, they'll have a good chance to win this game. For the Japanese team, I think Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi maybe not playing as well as he did this morning. He's missed a couple of shots or had a couple of half shots, so got to tidy those up. And their skip maybe just a little bit too tentative on some of his draws, just being tolerance short, yes, but just tolerance a little bit too short.
Lots of space here across the sheet. Yanagisawa looking to certainly get back into this game and start scoring some big points. As mentioned, they're getting set, the reigning Japanese champions, to play at the World Championships in Moose Jaw, which starts next week. This is their final tune-up. They are certainly a top team out of their country, went to the final as the 1 seed in their championship, took the final in 10 ends, but as we mentioned earlier, certainly a deeper team, or deeper country rather, just generally, but they are some real fierce competitors.
Yeah, and there's going to be some great teams at the men's worlds. Of course, Team Canada, skipped by Brad Jacobs, the new Canadian champions, dethroning Team Guju. China, they're skipped by Xiaoming Xu. They've missed, like the ladies from China, they've missed the last few World Championships. The COVID situation really impacted the Chinese sports program. They weren't playing for a couple of years, or weren't able to play internationally, so they dropped out of the A division of the Pan-Continentals, climbed their way back to the A division for this season and won the Pan-Continentals, and Xiaoming Xu just came off a bronze medal at the Asian Winter Games as well. Germany, Mark Miskadovitz had a great European Championships, of course, Joel Retornaz. But of Italy, Scotland, Bruce Mowat, Nicholas Edin from Sweden, not John Schuster, dethroning John Schuster, Corey Dropkin from the US, and Yannick Schwaller from Switzerland. So those are some of the top names that we'll see. But I'm going to be very interested in, like I mentioned before, the Lukas Klima team from Czechia, Czech Republic. I think they could surprise a few people. They've been playing very well this season, and they've really grown over the last 2 or 3 years, playing more and more on the World Curling Tour, and making this another World Championship appearance for them. Every time you get to the Worlds, you get a little bit extra experience, right? And that makes a lot of difference.
And they're a team that's here in Swift Current, a 9-2 win over Team Laycock, and then a 9-4 win over Team Wendling. They are taking on Team McDonald tonight. That'll be some stiff competition there with Jordan McDonald skipping that team, but also got Sam Muybrook coming up, so there'll be an exciting set of games to watch. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't flag for the viewers that Yanagisawa will be taking on Nick Edin at the final game of the round robin here. That's at 3:30 local time, I believe, tomorrow.
Yeah, a bit of a preview of the World Championships, but also could have playoff implications there as well.
Yeah, and it'll be, if both teams are here for that reason of getting that absolute perfect tune-up, they'll be bringing a certain set of intensity and a certain set of goals in that game going into, as we mentioned, just the real pinnacle of their season. So Yamaguchi here throwing third stones for this team and holding the broom, is just coming down to that red stone with a bit of weight. Is that the call here?
That's what I thought they were calling. They've got one stone. I think it's third shot right now behind the corner. There are 2 reds in the rings. I think that's shot rock and second shot rock, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you got to make a play off of one of these reds here. either coming down to that back one or just getting around the guard. This looks really tight though.
Yamaguchi, unfortunately, throwing another miss. Now, does that drag anywhere useful? Kind of, sort of, but yeah, certainly you'll not be happy with just the misses he's made. They've just kind of been that real no plan B. You know, obviously the flash is one thing, but yeah, that's just a difficult position to be in for sure.
Yeah, and we have such high expectations for us. Yama-san, he's been a top player for a long, long time. So to see him miss, and that wasn't really even close. They do roll into the rings, and with Hammer, you never know. Those rocks in the rings could come back, or in Team Balance, they have to be careful. You don't want those rocks to come back and count for the other team. So that's why they're looking at playing a hit off of this, even though it's only 4th shot.
Bo Cornelson here throwing. They will be going inside out just to remove that yellow stone. Any kind of roll towards the center could be pretty tantalizing for this team out of Alberta. Chris Pratt with the carve here.
The contact, a little thin. Will it go out? Doesn't go out, loses their own red stone, and wow, now that Yamaguchi rock that spilled in, starting to look pretty good over there.
A real disappointing miss there. Little bit of contact on that yellow and then that red. Lost the shooter, obviously, and as we set up to skip stones, yeah, maybe a little bit of disappointment there at a Cornelson, because this Japanese team looks like for maybe just a little hit and flop, or trying to get to the underside of that with a heavy draw weight.
I think they're going to hit and flop open. I think if you go under, you're going to be behind the tee, and with sitting 3 stones, I think the balance team would just draw down to it and try to take the end away on you. So I think you want to hit and roll away. Just roll it open here on the other side of the 8-foot. To about there. Oh, that's a good recovery for Tsuyoshi.
And so Team Balance here, Adam Nogler just looking at, yeah, it's a hit. I think the draw is pretty sound, because I think you have a decent tolerance of making something pretty good if you could ever just wrap it around. I know it's not curling a ton, but this hit and roll is pretty daunting.
Yeah, I think you can wrap it around. I guess they're worried perhaps that if you get it buried, there is the yellow run, the yellow that's at about the 2 o'clock position from the overhead camera that's in the house. You could make a bit of an angle run if you're a little bit too deep. So there is some risk with the draw as well. Obviously, you're also leaving 3 yellow stones in the rings. But you're right. I mean, this roll is not easy.
Just the fact it's behind tee, it complicates matters. Real big shot here for Nogler, throwing the final stones for Team Balance. Yellowknife native kicks out with quite a bit of speed. And it will roll, and it will keep rolling. So it will be 3rd shot if it's in the rings at all. That was a pretty good attempt, Jason, considering he needed to throw that much weight to get that much of that stone, but the margin's just so thin when you need to throw that kind of weight to get that kind of movement.
Yeah, and now Yanagisawa, I think they will either have to play the shot in the same spot as they had it and dare Team Ballance to make that hit and roll again, or they can go around that corner. I think if you go around the corner and if you're a bit too deep, you'll see Team Ballance play on top of it and just give you your 2 points. So if you want a chance at 3, you may need to just go to the open side, let them play the hit and roll, hope for a little bit of a miss or a half shot, not get the perfect roll, and then just draw in for 3 or make an open hit for 3.
Yamaguchi still looking for their first multi-point score in this game.
Yeah, they were 3 for 4 in conversions this morning. Very good opportunity for a conversion here, a hammer conversion.
Reigning Japanese champions here. Yamamoto now on the inside, Koizumi on the out.
And do want to get this behind the tee line here. And Yamaguchi has been a little bit short on some of his draws so far this game. Maybe a couple of feet short again. I think they wanted that to be fully in the back of the rings. That makes the hit and roll a lot harder.
So he does have options here. Nogler, who's a second year, University of Alberta, plays lead for the Golden Bears. Just hitting the open one and likely just trying to get a good roll behind. You just see to the right of Cornelson there, just all those staggers. Or just, is that what the call is?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely going to be the hit and roll here. And depending on where you leave it, you still might leave a yellow onto red combination for 3. You almost don't want to roll it too far, but if you don't roll it far enough, you might be able to chase it with soft weight. So pretty precise shot needed here to put some pressure on Riku Yamaguchi.
Really trying to keep this straight.
I don't think they're going to get much of a roll. In fact, they've rolled the other way, and it will be an open hit.
Nathan Kalba with the sweep there, trying to maintain its trajectory. And they're going to play not a blistering amount of weight to this, knowing that they have lots of room to roll, especially to the side that Yamaguchi is kneeling on to score their 3 points. So a massive shot here in the 5th for Yamaguchi. Looking to put up a 3 spot and convert with this hammer. Final stone.
Nice soft weight here. Sweepers look pretty happy with it.
Yeah, nice easy rock to manage. It looks like bang on the nose. So make that a score of 3 for this Japanese team. We will be right back with the sex end after these messages.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sasktel.com/sponsorships.
The people have spoken, the votes are in, and the players are ready to rock. At curling's first ever all-star event, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th, where 13 of the world's best men's and women's curlers face off for a star-studded celebrity pro-am, a unique skills competition, and an all-star skins game you won't want to miss. Got a ticket? We'll see you in Music City. Don't have one? Better hurry. They're going fast. The 2025 TCG All-Star Game, live from Nashville, April 15th and 16th. Let's rock.
Hi, I'm Jane.
And I'm Rick, and Jane and I are the owners of Sprague Foods Limited here in Belleville, Ontario, in the Bay of Quinte area. We're a food processing facility, and we can a whole range of products, including soups and sauces and rice pudding and beans.
Welcome back here to Swift Current. Yamaguchi scoring that 3 in the 5th. Now, Team Balance does have the hammer in the 6th, meaning if we do go to 8 ends and you convert on your hammers, you're destined to get 2 cracks at it compared to 1 for your opponents. But, Jason, it feels like they have a mountain to climb. We were just talking about how well of a constructed end that was for this Japanese team, as this is already wide open. You really got to make sure you convert when you have the opportunity here for Team Balance and make it a good one.
Yeah, and this is going to be a corner guard, or hopefully this will be a corner guard with the 5 rocks free guard zone. As long as this is in the free guard zone, you can't completely remove it out of play, but 2 down, kind of need a couple of points here.
Chris Pratt delivering here for Team Balance. Calgary native, played out of Ottawa with University of Carleton. And this team really just all in their early 20s, playing a lot of university curling.
This one going to slip in, and this one slips in as well. And I alluded to some mistakes from their lead. Just not quite having the draws in the right spot, and that one slips in, or the guards in the right spot, either the guards or the draws, in this case the guard, slipping too deep.
Yamamoto delivering inside outs. And Karuizawa indicating that it was maybe a little down weight, so they're on it early. And a little outside roll would be okay. It looks like they will get just ever so slightly that. And the guard goes back up here for Team Balance.
Yeah, you're down by 2, so you do have to try throwing up a guard, maybe get a miss. You might get a peel that doesn't roll out, or a peel that could jam on one of those yellow stones in the rings. Try to get something going. You can even try to use that rock that's in the top of the 8-foot, kind of that 11 o'clock position from the overhead as a guard later in the end if you really had to, and go around all of that to the back 8. Like you said, Marty, with an even end here and being 2 down, you really do want to score here.
Scoring any points would be advantageous. You know, if you do manage to get a deuce, it's certainly all tied up, but Yamamoto just clearing this guard out, trying to keep this, as mentioned at the start, just wide open, and it just shows when your lead is just that smidge heavy.
There's a jam, but they got away with it, but the shooter stays as a guard.
Yeah, it comes in towards the middle. That's an interesting miss. It gives Team Balance something to work for. Now, it is a certainly a lower guard, but it's something here for this team at Okotoks.
The intern side, they look a little tight to me. Let's see, can they get this around?
Down trying to keep this going. That's a lovely sweep, well managed. Always a good feeling when you get it around the guard. It's time to carve for some distance, and you see just how good it is. And I mean, kind of a unintended consequence to this, as we mentioned, Yamaguchi struggling a little bit with especially some of these hit weights, and they're forcing him to throw the most difficult shot we've seen so far this end.
Yeah, good news for Yamaguchi is the hits that he seems to have missed were going inside out, center line out, and this one is going outside in, so he's going to make it, right? There you go.
Well deduced, Jason.
If you're looking for a national coach in Japan, I'm right here.
Just message, we'll hook you up, don't worry about it. So the come around on the center, now that of course that guard just keeps creeping ever so more towards the middle, and now it is there. Something to work with.
Yeah, that was always a consequence of that run back, is you were going to leave the shooter up there as another guard. So opportunity to come around again. They're looking at also playing the hidden roll. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you play the hidden roll. I think you just go around.
By Stones here. Bo Cornelson.
Just a little bit out there. Will it finish enough for them?
And they'll have to go all the way to the back to get that finish. It's just biting the edge of the forefoot, but easily accessible here with the hack waiter.
Yeah, I don't mind that one having landed a bit deep. I think if you landed that in the top of the four, the top of the button, you leave the run back, and if you ever stuck it nose, yellow would be sitting two and buried. So going back a little bit probably doesn't hurt you on that shot. Still third stones. But of course, they wanted that a bit more buried. That was the problem. You can see a good chunk of this still.
Yamaguchi delivering, 11-time Japanese champion. Koizumi right away trying to carve this. How much can you move these rocks in swift currents? Not enough. So another miss there from Yamaguchi as it just sails right wide. And right away, Team Balance got a little bit of pep in their step. Going to try to sink one in here, top four, it looks like.
Yeah, Yama won't be happy with that shot. Yeah, not really sure. That was just thrown a little bit wide or a little bit heavy. Great opportunity here, though.
Negative miss right back, though. It looks like this will come up light. And Karuizawa with a bit of pep in his step here now, too, as they get a little bailout here. Chance to come right in there, and they want to get anywhere along that draw path. That I think you're right to the red. That's good. But I think you
Yeah,
could
I
maybe
like
get
this
away
call.
with it if you're anywhere in there, right?
I think so. I really like this call here. Just get it in there in front of that red stone.
I guess there's some tolerance too if you ever sort of tick off that yellow stone or what have you. There's a way you could still make this.
Yeah, the sweepers will have to call an audible there if they think it's has the weight, or the line caller if it looks like it's going to chip off the yellow. Get the sweepers on it for either the weight or a bit of carve or straight, whatever they need.
That big plow there from Koizumi, just keeping that weight on it, and that might have made that shot. They dulled the curl, kept the weight really nice, and brought it exactly to the face of that red stone. A well-managed rock there from this front end of Yamamoto and Koizumi.
Yeah, that's a very good phrase. Is behind the tee, so they can follow this down to sit shot stone. Still got a chance for 2 here. You might even think about leaving this on the top side of the tee line or just slightly above the tee line. Go right to the back. It'll give Yanagisawa a chance to come right on top and sit on the pin, I think. So I think you want this to be the top of the button.
Bit of precision needed here from Adam Nogler, seeking a skips deuce in the 6th. Chris Pratt trying to keep this straight. The lines look pretty good. Now, are they going to bump that Yellowstone? Oh, they will chop off the yellow.
Good call.
Yeah.
There you go, top of the button.
Your predictive powers have been bang on tonight, Jason. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I should buy a lottery ticket, perhaps.
Yeah, you got to cash in on it somehow, man. That might be your best bet. I guess, could you just draw and protect one side, I guess, or try to get as much to the button as you can? Yeah, I guess that's the call.
Yeah, the outturn draw looks quite tough now. You can probably still make it to the back yellow one and sit shot stone if you have the right line, if you kind of come close to that yellow stone that's in the side of the 8-foot. So the easier draw is definitely on this in-turn side. I think it's too difficult to chase the redstone right now.
Yeah.
You could, it's a thin and off. You could try the thin and off after yellow. Your second shot Yellowstone back there is pretty safe, so I don't think you're ever giving up 3 if you take something on.
But this might just be playing a bit of the scoreboard here from this Japanese team, just trying to get right to the button and see if you can't cut them down.
Yeah, and I think that's a good call. I think they are trying to get enough of the button to sit shot stone, but if they just block off the path, I think they're fairly happy with that too. But I think it's heavy, and that's why they swept it by, because they didn't want to give backing or a hit and roll on this shot. So
that's a good play call there from Yanagisawa. Now, Team Balance final stone. You just try to follow right where the intended path was there from this team and get your deuce. What a change of fortunes here from Team Balance in both this end and the previous one where they scored 2. They are nipping at the heels of Yanagisawa. Make this draw. This game is knotted up, tied going into the 7th end.
yeah, it seems like Adams found his draw weight in the last couple of draws he's played. So it is the other side of the sheet, so you never know. It could be a little bit different.
The 16th and final stone in this 6th end. Team Balance looking to take advantage of having the hammer in the even ends with the draw right to the side of the button. Looks like they have room. And the weight will be just up on it, so it will skate to the back of the 4, and it'll be 1 red stone counting. Make it 5-4, and Team Yamaguchi with the hammer and the lead when we come back.
Team Homan rocks. Team Mowat rocks. But who rocks harder? On April 7th, we'll find out. Presented by Rio Mare, join us in Toronto at the curling group's first ever Battle of the Sexes, as world number 1 Team Homan takes on world number 1 Team Mowat in a head-to-head charity curling skins game with a twist. 8 ends, 4 rule changes, and curling like you've never seen before. Watch it live on the Grand Slam of Curling website, app, and YouTube with celebrity coaches and special guest appearances. The curling group's first ever Rio Mare Battle of the Sexes, April 7th, Mattamy Athletic Center in Toronto. Get your tickets now at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec safety on?
Welcome to therockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
The 7th end of action here in Swift Current, draw 5, the Speedy Creek Shootout, Curling Stadium and Curling Zone. Marty Thompson, Jason Chang with you today on this Friday. Team Yamaguchi with the lead, 5-4 in the 7th. They have the hammer, and Chris Pratt looking to set Team Ballance up here with a come around on his guard.
Yeah, Saturday morning in Japan.
Oh, yes, thank you. Sorry. We had that earlier on with some folks watching the Clatter-Goskins game, too. Just taking a quick look around at some of the other scores we have out on the ice here for draw 5. Ethan Sampson and Nicholas Adine in a bit of a dogfight here. Adine up 3-2. Ethan Sampson with the hammer in the 7th. And in the only all-Canadian matchup we have here, Jaden King down 6-4 to Jacob Libis. But King does have the hammer in the 7th end. And just looking ahead tonight, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Lots of big matchups coming. We have, I believe, Uche Guzins taking on J-Balm Lee. Sam Muibrooks in action. You mentioned that Czech rink you were talking about earlier, Jason, that they're getting set for Worlds. They're taking on Jordan McDonald. Lots of big games. Rylan Kleider as well. It certainly is a stiff field here in Swift Current.
Yeah, I think I'm covering the Kleider and Maeda game later tonight, so looking forward to that one.
Karuizawa coming around here with lead stones going way out into the 12-foot.
Yeah, Yamaguchi, they've got hammer. They're up by 1. So if they can spread their rocks in the rings and just get an easy 2, that would give them a 3-point lead coming home. So I think they'd be pretty happy with that. That's why they went around to the open side. They're expecting the Ballance team to just leave that stone there, needing either a force or a steal. There's no point hitting that wide yellow stone that's in the back of the 12, back of the 8-foot. And if I may, Marty, I'm going to give a shout out to my eldest daughter, Kaylee Chang. She is turning 5, or she turned 5 today. So happy birthday, sweetheart.
What was on the to-do list today? Little cake and party?
We took her out of, no party, but Mom took her out of junior kindergarten quite early today at lunch to go have dinner with her grandparents. Or to go have lunch with her grandparents. So I had to work, so I had to stick around here.
Well, certainly a happy birthday to her.
And we'll have a bit of a celebration with some family, a little party, small party on the weekend.
Future curler?
Maybe. She really likes coming to the curling club. She used to hate it. Both my daughters, I have a 2.5-year-old as well, but they used to hate it when me and my wife have to travel away to play in a curling tournament. They miss us, but they've now finally realized that when we go away, my parents fly over from Calgary to take care of them, and that's the only time they get to eat McDonald's. And so now when we came back, they were asking, Mommy, Daddy, when are you going curling again? I want Grandma to come so we can go to McDonald's. So
smart cookies. Smart cookies. I'm sure there was a time when I also didn't like when my parents went to the curling club, but then I realized that I could just have the night to myself, hanging out. Or it was, babysitter time, and that was always way more fun. I'm sure I also had that epiphany at some point. So this Japanese team with some decisions to make, looking to play off that red stone that with hack or somewhere in between. I guess that's really the problem stone here, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think you definitely have to make a play off of this one. Again, you've got a couple of counters in the rings right now. You've got shot rock and looks like third shot. So you can keep sitting 3 here. You have a good chance of scoring a pretty soft deuce and take a 3-point lead. That's what really the Japanese team is trying to do. Try not to set up any doubles if they can. If they've got 3 rocks, so they can give away 1 double and still score 2.
And they get just about as close as they could up to that red stone, case in point, exactly where it ended up there. And just enough to sit 3 quite awkwardly, but they are sitting 3.
Yeah, and this team
Ballance just having to play off the red.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they know the situation, right? They really can't give up 2 here. So they're doing everything they can to force or get a steal out of this situation. It's not a great setup for a steal right now. So if I were them, I'd be thinking about how you force here.
Got another little soft hit weight. As mentioned, Team Ballance really trying to avoid that big end. A nice little tap up. And they push that Yellowstone to the back 4, but that's not the worst result. I could be wrong, but it does present a potential jam on that stone that they just sent back in.
Yeah, can you make the doubles on the reds and avoid the jam?
Or maybe is it just worth playing it anyways?
It might just be worth playing anyway. Even if it might jam out as well. And you'll lose the shooter if you try to play the double. If it jams out the back, if both reds go plus that back yellow one that's on the back 4 go, you're still sitting 2, and there's no easy double off the 2 yellows that you leave there. So I would play this shot right now. The middle's getting a little bit too congested if you don't remove the stones.
You don't want to just leave that there for the other team to use, of course. So a bit of weight coming here.
A little bit of heat. We've seen some misses out of Tsuyoshi today, so maybe not as confident. But most of those, I'm going to make a prediction, have come with softer weight hits. So I think this is coming with heat, so I'm going to say he's going to make this one.
That foot right to the backboard. And he lunges out with quite some speed. This looks close.
We'll jam it all the way out. Not quite, but pretty good.
I think that
Red is
just
shot
about,
stone, though.
it just about does the trick, except for the fact, you're right, Jason, that red is shot stone.
So now Team Balance, they're going to try to keep sitting 2 for the rest of this end and get the force that way. So I'm going to call that a successful prediction. That was almost perfectly made.
Keep buying lottery tickets. I know you have been, so just this whole time, just keep buying them. You're good.
Well, now that you can buy those tickets online, right? So it's a lot easier.
Yeah, don't have to come by mail. Well, the alternative shot that they're seeing here is just hitting this Yellowstone and sitting.
Yeah, I think that would be the safer way to get the force. It is getting later in the end, so
that shot also, if you do get like a little bit of an inside roll, you could end up being almost completely flat with those 2 red stones at the back of the house. That's a good outcome.
yeah, if you play the hit, though, you do need to sit and outcount that top yellow stone. Looks like they've elected to go back to the draw here. Try to get around that stone that's in the top of the 12, just nibbling the top of the 8.
Some key shots coming up here for this Alberta rink as they look to keep pace in this game. And this will come up well short of where they intended.
Well,
Unfortunately.
now sweep it to guard your back one. Yeah, they didn't get that far enough over. I think if maybe switched a bit earlier and tried to get that curl to guard the back one. That is shot rock, so they could have guarded it. Wouldn't have been the worst, but now opportunity to sit 3 here.
Yamaguchi switching gears to a draw. So for Team Balance, gonna start either removing granite or just trying the wrap around, I guess.
I think you've got to just try to wrap around now. I think it's too late to remove any more granite here. There's no doubles there at all. There's nowhere really to roll. If you're going to roll, you're probably rolling too far. That was a good shot from Yamaguchi. They pushed the red stone out and rolled it away. They didn't want to roll under. If you rolled under, then the opposition team, Balance, could come and draw down to it. Now you just have to make a straight draw. There's no backing, but also if you leave it a bit open, You can chase it.
We are now approaching skip stones here in the 7th. Adam Nogler throwing 4 stones for this team. He throws lead for the University of Alberta. This needs to be quite precise for them to get the result that they need at this point in the game. Can they drag it around enough? Not quite. So 3/4 from our angle, maybe closer to a full rock from the right-footed shooter's hack. And maybe just a little hit and roll is the call, eh?
Yeah, I think that's buried a little bit such that you can't get any inside roll. I think rolling it away would be a good outcome. You'll put the pressure on. You're going to force Adam to either throw the draw again and make it a bit better or play the hidden roll. Just had a little bit too much ice there, it looked like. Could have also thrown it a bit heavier. You could have landed that in the back of the 8. Give the rock a little bit more distance to curl or finish at the end.
So Karuizawa settling in for his first of 2. Certainly smelling blood at this point in the game.
Yeah, certainly if you put up a 3 or 4, it's probably game over. 2 would be already very good. This rock looking really nice. Got the little flop over. Well, now hit and roll or the draw.
Yeah, maybe the hit and roll is what you go after, just knowing you can make it really nice.
Yeah, this is the other call, the out-turn draw. Try to get it to the 4-foot side of the 4.
Carlson giving just a little bit more ice than they had previously for one of his draws. Again, this team, a 7-3 loss to Adine in their first one. Took on Samson of Minnesota in the next game, lost 6-2. The closest of these games they've had thus far. Up next, they've got Jaden King tomorrow morning, and then Libis, another Alberta team, to wrap up this round robin. Playoff chances really hinging on this one as well. This end especially. Final stone here for Team Ballance and Adam Nogler. Chris Pratt on the inside, Nathan Kalba on the out. This is already moving on them. Got to keep this straight to beat this yellow guard. It looks awfully close. Can they wrap this rock? They can. How far will it go? And it looks like it's shot stone.
Great shot. Great sweep there.
Didn't look like it was going to make it, but a well-placed draw. Now
based
for this.
on how, sorry, Marty, based on how tight they got around that out-turn side, I don't think you can chase this. I think it'd be really tough to chase this rock from the out-turn, the counterclockwise turn, the same turn that Adam just threw.
One thing I was going to say was, how offensive do you think this Japanese team is going to be here?
I think it's probably worth taking the risk here for a multiple score. The worst that can happen right now is a tie game with Hammer coming home. I think this shot is there. From this front view, the thrower view, a lot of curl, as we mentioned, going inside out. So you can definitely get to that yellow stone in the top of the 12 and push it into the red stone. That's what they're trying here.
Final stone in the 7th. Karuizawa seeking a big end. And look at this carve from Koizumi. You got to bring this rock over. You got to get a really big piece of this yellow. and they will bump the Redstone fully out of the rings. They score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and that's it here from draw 5 in Swift Current. Look at this shot. This is a fantastic sweep and a really manageable weight here, Jason.
Yeah, wonderful shot, and may have been a hair wide out of his hand, but the sweepers and the line call, they picked it up right away, was carving it right out of his hand. Great weight control. You can see just enough weight to push the rock out. That allows the sweepers to have maximum effect, right, when you're carving, is if that weight is nice and soft. Big 5 points, and that's game over, and a big win for Team Karuizawa to bring their record to 2-1. And even though there was some struggles there from Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi, a strong finish in those last couple of ends.
So I'll do it for us here from Swift Current. So for myself and Jason, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we have games all weekend here from the Speedy Creek Shootout, Curling Stadium, and Curling Zone. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly.